Gentlemen, ladies, I bid you welcome. My name is Edmund Warner, Esquire, the upkeeper of Warner Manor and the noble image of the Warner family. I hope you enjoy this reading from my diary, which is currently being held up for me to read by my manservant Baxter. Friday. Dear Diary, Christmas is not a time nor a season, but a state of mind. To cherish peace and goodwill, to be plenteous in mercy, is to have the real spirit of Christmas. The words of Calvin Coolidge have been singing in my heart as the festive season is upon us, never more so than this morning of all days. Upon a perimeter sweep of the Warner estate, my manservant Baxter and I found a little family of dormice sheltering from the cold inside our tool shed, all tucked up snugly in a shoebox, surviving only by the warmth each was providing for the other. It was a truly heartwarming sight. Naturally, I had Baxter exterminate them by collapsing said shoebox. Mother is not so keen on mice, you see, but what I think this shows is that family always comes first at Christmas. Now, I am very excited, as not only is Christmas around the corner, but it is also Friday. The week's work is coming to an end. I write this from Mrs. Van Swenton's tea room, accompanied by my dear friend Bertrand Fotherhill. We have been enjoying a few cups of the Queen's finest ale and recanting some fond memories of our school days at Harrow. I shall regale you with some of those in a moment, but first let me inform you of the morning's drama. Although I awoke feeling gay and full of spunk, my festive spirit was slightly dampened by what Bertrand and I are referring to as sockgate. Dear listeners, what you should know is I am a military man. Well, from a family with a military history, so my socks are always kept in a precise order. Baxter knows this all too well, as he in fact was the co-architect of the colour-coded system currently in operation. I always have black, grey and cream in separate compartments. This makes it very easy for Baxter to quickly access and subsequently lay out my colour of choice. Baxter is in charge of keeping the supply to a full complement and also to full health. Part of his daily duties involve checking every sock for wear and tear. Now, due to a grave miscalculation on his part, he ordered too many cream-coloured ones. This meant when he tried to stuff them all in the drawer, he realised there was not enough space. So then, he only decides to ballywell mix the black and grey to make room for more cream. What on earth was he thinking? I promised Bertrand I wouldn't get angry about it again, but he has really ruffled my feathers. Can you imagine myself returning from a round of whist at the Harpenden Flasket estate, quickly needing to change my socks ahead of dinner, only to be met by that great big buffoon bumbling his way through piles of socks, trying to pick out the right colour? It boggles the mind, good listeners. Anyhow, as aforementioned, Bertrand and I were discussing our school days, so I thought I would recount some of them in my diary for you. Harrow was not as selective a school as you may assume. You would think the annual fee of £36,000 would make it a safe haven from offspring of the proletariat. But, dear readers, there was one little word that meant the drawbridge was well and truly down. Scholarships. That's right, the world's highest standard of education, rightfully reserved for society's elite, was handed out to the slack-jawed goggins who could produce the best doe-eyed look for the bursar. I begged the school to put me in Bradbury's house, famed for nurturing some of the great academic and political minds, and also for seldom housing the S-word pupils. But, unlike Harry Potter, I was not able to overpower the sorting hat, who was in this case a man called Horace Felkringer. And although I did not know it at the time, he was to be my head of house and arch nemesis for my first 3 years of school. I knew this man was pure evil when he turned down a hefty bribe from my parents to have me put in Bradby's. He said, "I don't want Edmund feeling left behind academically. His record from junior school suggests he would benefit from being in a more mixed environment. Well, we knew exactly what he meant by mixed, and it did not take long for my fears to be confirmed. It came to light that I was to be sharing a room with a scholarship pupil. His name was Marlin Fendrew, and although he would now call me a friend, and I would call him an acquaintance, it took a long time and several major business wins from his father for us to get to this stage. But I jump ahead, dear readers. Drury's house was to be my home for the next 7 years, or at least that was the plan. This was until I realised that the bathroom was to be, forgive me readers, I shudder just writing this, shared between Marlin and my good self. I mean, can you imagine? Can you just imagine what sort of habits this boy has? Even calling them habits is most likely being kind. His cleanliness was little better than that of a shaved baboon. I assume this was the case anyway, so I had Baxter come and pick me up, and I refused to attend school unless I was a day pupil. Ah, memories. I have many more tales of school, but those will have to wait for another day. For me, it is time to down my quill, fold up my parchment, and have Baxter pick me up, so I'm home in time for dinner this evening. With Christmas so close, I think just a light supper awaits, of 36-day aged beef terrine to start, followed by braised duck breast casserole with fennel, cordon bleu, damson sauce, and cinnamon parsnips. I know most of you will not be aware of those foods, so as a little bit of homework, why don't you research them for next time? For now, I fare thee well.